Good morning, afternoon, and evening, whenever you see this. This is Dee with Older INFP Insights. I want to thank everybody for seeing my last video of my update. Looks like I'm going to have to do several more videos to get my picture off the front, front of the, off the front of my channel. Yeah, but I appreciate all that, and looks like we're getting a lot of views. What used to take a month is now taking a couple of days, so I'm going to sit here and do several. That's why my socks going to look the same. Just going to do several ramblings of different videos to push them through a little bit faster right now. Appreciate everybody participating in the polls. Sorry everybody's going to be home alone with that last poll. Everybody's home alone. Most people who see this are air signs, which is interesting to me. But anyway, I digress. The first, keep in mind now that this channel is about my take on things. It doesn't mean it's so. It doesn't mean I don't study the Myers-Briggs. I don't study any of that stuff. Just what I have observed in my life and what I see on YouTube and what I agree and disagree with. So today I'm going to talk about the difference between the INFP-A, assertive, and the INFP-T, turbulent. This will be real short. A lot of people, particularly when you see on social media, what they depict on social media, what you hear about on, Reddit threads. I'm not picking on Reddit, but I just know they do a lot of threads and that sort of thing. Talking about INFPs, I think it's more the turbulent type, which would be more the depressive type. I'm just going to simplify things. More of the depressive type. And the A stands for assertive, and that's speaks for itself. It's more assertive. I am an INFP-A. I used to be an INFP-T. No, we'll get to that later. But yes, you can change that. Now the depressive type, and like I said, what you see are those they say, well, they stay alone. They don't. Well, that's mostly INTPs. They say they don't shower. I was in a Facebook group about INTPs one time, and INFJs, INTPs, I don't know how they got grouped together. But they always complained about how the INTPs didn't shower. They stayed in the basement all the time. They absent-minded professors. And I may talk about the INTP at some point in time. I have a couple in my family. But the INFP, that's what people just think, well, that's an INFP too, because, and a lot of the INTPs are that way. That's an INFP because there's just one letter difference. Well, we all know by now, hopefully, that in your cognitive functions, one letter can mean all the difference in the world. Not so much in this case, but it can. But the INFP turbulent, depressive ones, they would be the ones that would be very melancholy, very depressed. It would be more likely to want to be a hermit type person, more likely to be antisocial or not social. I hate antisocial, but just kind of non-social. And of the famous people, list of famous people, those that come to mind would be people like Kurt Cobain. And, my mind just went blank. But the Princess Diana is an INFP, and even though she smiled and had a good time, she was depressed. She had good reason to be. I'll leave it at that. But I'm not going to pick on anybody. But gosh, who was the other one that I had in mind that was? I should have written this down. It's Kurt Cobain, definitely. He committed suicide, and his songs, if you listen to a lot of his songs. Oh, I know. Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe, he was my favorite poet when I was a teenager. I was a T and a turbulent type person when I was a teenager. I had the teenage angst. I thought I was going to die any minute. I didn't care if I did. I went down the rabbit hole with about everything, very dark. Everything was dark. Couldn't see the sunshine if I tried, if it hit me in the face. My parents' friends noticed that. They say, well, you know, when Dee's walking down the street, she's got her head bowed and she looked. I walked down the street with my head bowed and my hands in my pocket, just slouching around. And yeah, I was depressed. And I stayed to myself. And I wrote poetry. That's how I got it all out. Read a lot of poetry, wrote a lot of poetry. So I did those types of alone type things. So that's what I would say to me would be the INFP-T. Now the INFP-A, that doesn't get as much publicity, I don't think, on social media. They are the ones who are confident, who are leaders, who are go-getters. Yes, there are a lot of INFP-As who are go-getters and leaders. They start things, they start projects, and they finish them, they keep them going. Like I said, I am now an INFP-A. I built up my confidence over the years. I think age has a lot to do with it. I think wanting to survive had a lot to do with it. I won't go into any details about it, but it's a miracle I am alive. I'll just leave it at that, because you can go down too far, too deep into the depressive state. It's not good for you. 3 out of the people I just mentioned that I thought were INFPTs, none of them are still around. You tend to take more chances and things that you don't think about ahead of time. So I won't dwell on that. Now, some of the people who are supposed to be INFPs that I think are categorized as A's, I will think people like Johnny Depp and Keanu Reeves. Those two, I think, would be more of the assertive type than depressive type. They act like they are anyway. They're putting on a good act. I've seen some of their interviews. And my gosh, with all the world situations and we got going on right now, we're talking about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. We're still, that's in the news every day about their trial. I really don't watch any of that, but they're getting a lot of attention. And they are more outgoing, and they are more sociable. They are more out there. So I think they're more approachable. Somebody said to me too in one of the comments that they didn't think that they were approachable as an INFP. I think that's more to the INFP-T types. I don't see where they would necessarily be approachable. Because they're so much into themselves with I would just say with dark thinking. And I don't say that necessarily as being a negative thing. It is if you let it get a hold of you and just go down the rabbit hole totally, and you don't have a support system. You have enablers around you, or you don't have a support system, then yes, tragic things can happen to you, but it's more on the dark side, and I think we both can, and I think we can shift back between the two. You can be, we're moody, INFPs are moody, so we can be assertive and we can be turbulent. If you are assertive and you've always been assertive, then good for you. You're probably leading something, starting your own company, have your own company, that sort of thing. And you do have friends and you like to go out. You like to be home alone a lot, but you do like to go out. And those who are more of the turbulent type, you can be if you don't like the way you are. If you like the way you are, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like the way you are and you want to be somebody else, or be more outgoing, not be somebody else, then you can work on just your confidence. A lot of ways to do that, and I won't get into all of anything from all the way from therapy to classes on how to do it. Group classes are really good. Small groups are good to get out of your shell. That type of thing. I'm just kind of rambling. That's all I know. That's all I'm going to get into with this. So there are two different types of INFPs. And like I said, the INFP-A doesn't get as much attention on social media as INFP-T, because we do have a bad rap. But yeah, so that's all I'm going to say about that. If you have any questions and want more information, just write it in the comments below. I'm getting more comments, which I appreciate. And like and subscribe. The videos are getting out there. Share if you know anybody that could be an advantage to. And so that's all I know. That's a difference to me, simplicity's sake. I'm not getting into all the psychology of it, but the simplicity's sake of the difference between INFP-A and INFP-T. We are two completely different people in the same personality type. Alright? Well, I'm going to be doing several of these probably today. You'll see the same socks because I'm on a roll. Okay. So everybody, until next time, stay safe.